Hey, friends. Well, I've had a kind of an interesting um, set of ideas show up this morning. And actually, this kind of started yesterday. I had a call with my wife and somebody who works with us, and it was just a really great chance to look at some of those inner patterns that each of us, that all of us have, that each of us carry. And something that showed up, this sort of speaks to a larger, long-term pattern in my life that I think relates to a lot of areas of a lot of our lives. For about the last, year and a half, ever since we basically made this move to Albuquerque, there's been a gradual process of my taking on more and more of the duties and the work around Annalise's day-to-day life. That's something that has been a gradual trend, and it's been interrupted by some things like my leaving town for 2 months to go do a show, and other periods of intense work even when I was still here. But so it hasn't been a linear process, but it's been something that's just gradually been happening. And there was an interesting shift that happened in me when I stopped seeing this as an intrusion into the work life, the professional life that I was leading before we moved to Albuquerque, and started seeing it as the happiest experience in my life I could possibly ask for. The ability and the freedom to spend time with my daughter and to watch her grow and to be right there, hands-on with her for so many of her day in, day out experiences. It's just as I've let go of this feeling that it's encroaching, there was a sense of, like, that's how I had framed it in my mind. And because I do value my work, and I value my creative time, and I find it deeply nurturing to invest myself in those projects and all of that. And I think I had a fair amount of sort of maybe typically male impulse to prioritize my professional life. And so when it became more difficult to do that from a strictly time point of view, because of the duties I was taking on, it took me a while to come around to the realization, oh my God, this is just the greatest privilege ever. And I mean, it didn't take me that long, but it was an adjustment, and it marked an inner shift in me that I'm still just kind of it's almost like I have a little bit of a high from it. It's just so incredible to me that I get to play this role for this period of my daughter's life. And one thing that has and I would say that shift happened several months ago, a while ago. I've been settled into this for some time now. Doesn't mean I don't still make adjustments and have to wrestle with things here and there, but I'm pretty stably anchored in this perspective. And one thing what showed up today, though, was because I sometimes divide that element of my life out from the rest of my life. In other words, the time that I spend with Annalise is kind of its own compartment of time, and I sort of separate it from the other work that I'm doing. And what showed up today was that in the same way that it's such a privilege to spend this time with Elise, it's also a privilege to spend my time every other way in my life. In other words, it was this, I've had this interesting kind of feeling of, I've gone from initially a kind of feeling of urgency and pushing around my work life. Had to kind of let that go to let myself really sink into this other role as a caregiver and provider and, you know, parent, basically. I would say the kind of more full-time parent. And then finding a kind of ease and a wonder in that. And then I've now watched that energy move back into my professional work, and it's like, oh, it's all like this. It's all supposed to be like this. It's all supposed to feel like this. And so it's this amazing gift that Elise has given me simply by her presence and by being this little light being that I get to spend my days with. She kind of has reframed my whole outlook, and so I feel that energy now rippling into my other work that's not strictly about parenting or strictly about being with her. And this morning was the first time that I sort of saw and felt. Again, this always happens when I'm standing right here in my yoga practice. Things will just, it's like impressions and energies kind of coalesce. And this morning was the first moment where I was like, oh, they're one. It's all privilege. It's all the highest privilege, all of life. And I think, you know, the microcosm of parenting, the microcosm of my relationship with my daughter gave me a beautiful template for all of life. And so it almost feels like a kind of spiritual touchstone of some kind that I have received from that experience, and that is beginning to open out. There's a feeling rising in my chest. I hear your voice in the gentle, sentimental sensation of elation that longs to be expressed. You speak to me from deep within my mind, like an echo of a soft and distant prayer. Is it my imagination or emotion that's convinced me of the notion that we've met somewhere in another time and place? And though I've never seen your face, I feel you in like a secret whispered softly in my ear, and full of magic to set the world alight, like a memory washed ashore of a song about to soar. I hear you in the rain upon the window, and I feel you in the early morning silence, and I know you by the song that rings within me as I gaze upon the sunrise of my heart. We are gods, we are stardust, we are the earth that longs to reach the heavens, and you're the one who lets me know we're gonna get there someday. It is the love of someone I have never met that makes me sure that this journey never ends, and I know because I hear you from the top of every mountain, and I see you when I look out at the sea. I close my eyes and realize we've never been apart. You are the sunrise of my heart. 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 That's a song that I wrote for Elise before she was born, when I felt like she was communicating with me. So I think this process of her teaching me has been going on for a while. And it's amazing to feel it expanding, growing from a nebulous, larval, emotional connection into a more and more fleshed out, intellectual, musical connection. It's an amazing journey, and it's definitely all privilege. Thanks for watching, folks. After I wrap up here, I'm going to get on the road to Sedona, reconnecting with my good friend Kyle Cease, amazing teacher and speaker and human being. So I'm sure I will be updating you from the road. But thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you soon.